We have a fun Q&A today. Today's Q&A is brought to you by anybody who made comments on the InstaChops page of Would You Rather questions.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to start out with a heavy hitter. We talked about Casey Cooper earlier. He's back again. He's back again.
Can't get rid of this dude.
Yeah, I know, right? He submitted an awesome Would You Rather question. His question is, would you rather listen to one song for 24 hours straight, one album for a month, or one band for a year?
Let me pull this question out. I feel like I need to read the three options right in front of me.
So one song for one day. 24 hours straight.
What that would just suck. That would suck. Like, it would be okay if it was like a 20-minute song, but there's not that many of those. It's more than likely, if you're talking like a 3-minute song, you're just going to hate that song. I couldn't even do that in high school when you listen to the same music like all the time over and over. I couldn't do the same song all day.
It would be over quickly. It's 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
It'd be done. You'd be done, right? And you're like, God, I never have to listen to that song ever again.
You'd ruin whatever the song was. You're going to hate it forever now.
But the album for a month, think of like week 2. You're just like,
yeah. But see that I actually remember doing. I remember in when was it? Whenever I was like 15, when that big Under Oath album came out. Not the original big one, the next big one. I don't remember what it was. I was like 15 or 16, so this was like 05, 06. And I remember playing that album on repeat exclusively. Like, there was no other music that I listened to for at least a month. I remember doing that. That's kind of a young thing to do. Like, you just pretend this is the best album in the world for some reason.
Was it Cries of the Past or
No.
The Changing of Times?
So Changing of Times was older. It was after Changing of Time. Defy the Great Line.
Define the Great Line.
Define the Great Line. Yep, that was the one. Wake up, wake up, wake up. That one.
I was a big fan of Disambiguation.
Oh, okay.
Really, really awesome album.
Yeah, they were like core band within my friends group at age 14, 15, 16 for sure. Knew all those drum parts, could play every album. Them and like Seosin, Circa Survive.
Oh my God!
That whole angry ambient world.
Seosin. I don't know why
Seosin.
that brought back like a million memories of just saying that band name. That is so funny.
Oh yeah, they were huge when I was in high school.
Massive. Yeah,
we say that now, but like,
Yeah.
they were just massive to us. They really weren't that famous.
They were
of
like,
bands.
you could go see them and you
Yeah.
were just like, there's 100 people here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
famous to us, because in regards to like going to local gigs, a famous local band had 50 people at the gig, but a famous touring band had 100 plus.
A few hundred, yeah.
And it was
yeah.
just like, that blew our minds because we're
Yeah.
just like, that's so much fans.
So many people. Funny.
But crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
So
yeah.
that's one album for a month. That sounds doable to me. One band for a year. If it's an old enough band with enough albums, that would be feasible. But I also don't think you would ever recover from what that would do to you. Like, your playing would be forever changed. If you said for 1 year I only basically take one influence musically, like, that will definitely change your playing. You will start hearing that drummer's playing in everything, right? Because you can't help it. So to me, the most doable version of this, listening to one song for 24 hours straight, one album for a month straight, or one band for a year, I think the album for a month sounds doable, where you could get something out of it. You're not going to go completely crazy and hate the music forever. I think that would be the sweet spot for me. So that's what I'll say. That's a good question. But yeah, one album for a month straight is what I would do.
One album for a month.
What about you? You sounds like, would you do the single song? Just get it over with?
No. Rush has 19 albums in their discography.
Ooh,
which is more than an album a month.
Yeah.
Technically.
At least you get the variety.
Yeah. You go through the history of everything, analyze lyrics,
Yeah.
drum parts, a lot of bass parts and guitar parts.
You could study a band like that for a year. You definitely could.
Yeah. You definitely know a lot. In a year, you would know more than you would care to know.
You would.
About that band. Oh, my God. I don't know. Maybe 24 hours straight. Just so it's done.
Just to be done, yeah.
Because then I could just pick, a 20-minute song.
Yeah, you just pick a long song. That's the key. You pick a 3-minute song, you're cycling that thing a few hundred times, right?
Yeah, because as long as it was a good enough band and it was long enough.
Catch, the song is "Call Me Maybe." So.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think of what would just drive you insane to hear that many times. Probably like a bubblegum pop song. That would get you.
Or like a K-pop song.
Yeah.
Insane. Or even if it was like a spoken, I've said this before, like I don't deal well with spoken word bands.
Yeah.
Like if it was that, yeah.
Oh yeah, that would
do
drive
it.
you crazy. Though
Couldn't do it.
You mentioned K-pop for a sec. Is BTS considered K-pop?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Korean.
Dude, that song. What's the new one? What's it called? How do I not know the name of it if I'm going to mention it? It sounds like Dirty Loops. The mix sounds like Dirty Loops is what it sounds like.
Is it Butter?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, there's some corny verses in there, but
Pulling it up.
the bridge of that song with that little repetitive melodic, almost a guitar type synth tone over it, with the weird swung, super chunky, like thick bass mix. Man, it's like they went for like a Dirty Loops kind of mixing sound. I really like it. It's I don't like anything from that band, but that song is sick. Actually, from a mixing perspective, like I thought it was mixed super, super well. Very interesting, like ultra modern fusion pop sort of mix, which is Dirty Loops, right?
Yeah. So I'll go on record saying I've never listened to BTS. I looked it up on YouTube. This video on YouTube of Butter has 490 million views.
490 million. That is like unfathomable.
I like 490,000. Like
Yeah.
400, like 500 million views. I've never listened to it, so I'm just to understand what you're talking about.
Sure. We won't play the audio on the pod because copyright shit. But go ahead, listen to it.
That's
Good, right?
It's
fucking
definitely
good, dude.
it's definitely good. Yeah,
Yeah,
that bass line was awesome.
Yeah, it was sick. And that's like I don't like that music that's like clearly written in a conference room is what it sounds like.
Kinda.
It's so contrived
Yeah.
to make money. It just that's what that band is, you know. But that
1,
song
2,
is
3,
absolutely
4,
sick.
5,
It's so
6.
BTS Butter. Look that up. That shit hits, dude. You can't tell me that song doesn't hit. That sounds sick.
I can see why this has 490 million views.
It's
it is
dope.
so visually appealing.
Oh, is it? I've never seen the video.
The video is sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
they got the budget for it.
Well, a lot of it's green screen, but some of it is actual sets. And then there's like wardrobe in it, and the lighting looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And like the color balancing in it, it looks phenomenal.
Sure.
And whoever the makeup artist is for all these men to make them look like children, good fucking job.
They do look
Holy
like
shit.
They do look like children.
Oh my
I have
God.
like a cultural and maybe it's just like a cultural disconnect necessarily. Like for some reason, like a team of young Asian men singing pop songs for young girls. You know, I don't think I'm supposed to get it. Like we're not the demographic for a band
yeah,
like
it's
this.
fine if we're not fans. It'd
Yeah.
be weirder if we were fans.
It'd be a little weirder if we were, yeah. But I don't know. It's nice to see in a project like that. I'm like, oh, well, you killed that one. That song was so dope. I've never heard anything else. If anything, I'm more like cringe at most of their music. Like, what is this?
In the early days, I was like, I don't get the craze.
Yeah.
And now that they're so big, it's like, okay, I kind of get it now. I understand what angle they were going for. But
Well, shout out whoever mixed that. I think there was an engineer pulling strings on the back end of that song, and that dude is dope. That was sick.
Hybe or Hebe Labels, I guess is whatever record label that is. I'm not
Okay.
even sure where that is based out of, but
Probably not
if it's
here.
based out of Korea, it's a Korean producer.
Gotcha.
So, something like that. All right, anyway. Cool. Thank you, Casey, for your Would You Rather question.
thanks,
Always
man.
great to feature him and other drummers on the podcast. It was a good question. I said 24 hours straight. Ended up doing that. You said 1 album for a month.
Yeah.
So, do that. Next, Would You Rather question from
Okay.
Bren Sticker.
Okay.
Would you rather play a $200 acoustic kit or a $1,000 electric kit? Which are electric kits even good at $1,000?
I mean, you're definitely above the like bottom end of the barrel, right? Like they're bottom end of the barrel. Is that how you say that?
Bottom end of the barrel?
Yeah, that was probably the wrong way to say it. Like the cheapest like entry level electric kits. I would think $500 is right around where like it's not a toy anymore. $1,000 is just over that line, but like they're nowhere near pro until you get a bit past that.
Like 3-4 grand.
Well, like you can get the TD-17 for like $1,700 or $1,800, and it's dope. It's really cool, but not $1,000, not quite $1,000. I'm not sure what exact model you'd get for $1,000. Yeah, look that up. Well, what are the $1,000 models of electric kits? The problem with the $200 acoustic kit is like it's going to be basically a toy. So I don't know if those are the best price points to compare. It might be like $500 kit versus $1,000 electric, but basically, which cheap version of those, would you prefer to play? For me, I'm going to go acoustic like all the time, I think. I don't know, like electronic kits, we've talked about them plenty of times on this podcast, but for me, they don't like really blow me away until they're worth a lot more money. But an acoustic kit, you could get over that really quickly, even if it's cheap. Like it's cheap, but then you still have all the normal options and like less limitations with an acoustic kit. It feels like a little more, you could get used to it and just jam it like it's a normal kit. But a cheap electric kit, you're not going to get over that. Like it sounds bad, it feels bad, it's weird.
You're playing plastic.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have the right. I couldn't ignore that it was cheap, but an acoustic kit, a cheap one, I could ignore that it was cheap and still jam and have fun. So I think that'd be my answer. I think I would go with the cheaper acoustic if those are my options.
$200.
$200 though. That might be the wrong price for this question because
that's a Salvation Army kit.
Yeah, exactly. Run to the back of the thrift store.
That's a Goodwill kit. Which, if you can get a kit for cheap, go for it. Like,
sure.
If you're going to enhance your skills based on $0 spent, $200. Good for you. It's awesome. Make that kit sound the best.
Sure.
Also, a TD-17, $1,900.
$1,900. Okay, so we're still not even close.
No,
that's a great kit though. It's a really cool.
Yeah, they're really good. But then I don't even think $1,000. Not an Elysis.
Yeah, you definitely need a little cash to get in the electric kit game. For sure. I mean, you could, Elysis definitely makes some really, really cheap ones. But in my eyes, it's not, you're in like toy territory, right?
A little bit, yeah.
You be careful there.
Yeah, I don't think Roland makes anything under $1,000, actually.
Probably not.
Okay, TD-10. You can get a TD-10 for $720.
Okay. I'm sure that's decent.
Or TD-1, sorry, not TD-10.
Okay.
Maybe still, something good for $1,000. Good starter kit. That'd be good. $200 acoustic kit. All the way, though. Mm-hmm. You can beat that thing to hell.
All day.
Cool. Thank you, Bren, for the question. Next, would you rather from Joey Sanal.
Okay.
Would you rather only be able to use one rudiment for the rest of your life or use only one hand and two legs? So a la Def Leppard's drummer.
Gotcha. So for me, this is easy. I would lose a hand. I think that is less of a limitation than using one rudiment.
6-stroke roll.
That's probably what I would pick. Probably. But, God, there's so much you can't play, right? Because you can't even cut the rudiment short because it's not the rudiment. You have to play the whole thing. So everything is in a cycle of 6. So, like, that's so... How do you play a measure of 16th notes? You can play 2 6-stroke rolls. That's 12 notes, and you got 4 left over. What do you play for the last 4?
You roll
You'd have to do a
last
kick in
2 of the last 6-stroke roll into the next bar.
Yeah, but you didn't. So now you like mandatory going over the bar line. Yeah, that's really tricky. I mean, the smartest one would be a paradiddle, something that technically the cycle is only 4 notes, like right, left, right, or left, left. Put the kicks in. Yeah, that probably would be the most versatile choice. If you could only play one rudiment forever, would just be a standard paradiddle or an inverted paradiddle. Might actually pick that, but. I don't know. If you only had one hand, I guess you can't play any rudiments. But you can do all sorts of combinations. You would find a way to compensate for that. I think that's what I would go with. I would ditch the hand, and I would do that. One rudiment forever just sounds like, how much are you going to say with only one word, right? Like you're going to run out of things to say because you only got one word to build your sentences with, right?
Well, now we know what we need to do. We need to tie your hand. Whichever one, you can pick left or right, behind your back, and you have to play to a loop With one hand.
With
and two
one
legs.
hand.
That's the next video that you have to post.
I could do it. It would just be...
All right. Well, you said you could do it, so you can't lie to me, can you?
This is the content people need.
I'm technically... I mean, if you're talking about, validating people with one arm, take away an arm.
Yeah.
Take away an arm.
We could do it.
Okay. You could do it. That's what you said. I did not say I could do it.
The problem is I don't want to. Is the thing.
All right, cool. Well, last, would you rather from cliff.is.board, would you rather have to sacrifice your second floor time, which is still there,
Okay.
or your second crash? What is your second crash on your kit?
Second crash. That's the extra thin hammered 20-inch crash. Oh,
Okay.
that's a good one too.
Ooh.
So get rid of the second crash cymbal or the second floor tom. I think probably second floor tom, because for me the second floor tom has turned into, I guess I would describe it as like an auxiliary tom, in that I could play entire songs and never touch it. It's not like I depend on it where like I would go to hit it and be like, oh no, it's not there. That would happen all the time if I took that crash away though. Like it would take like 6 months before I stopped swinging for it, because it's been in that position for like many, many, many years. Probably my entire life. I think I've always had 2 crashes up top, right? But the third tom, the big floor tom set back, I think I would pretty quickly get used to that not being there. I don't think that would be too big of a deal. So that's what I would do. But that's I like that one. It's very tricky. Very tricky for sure.
It's one of those, I mean, once you have it kind of permanently set up, you would miss it for a bit.
Yeah, some stuff. Did you ever play 2 floor toms?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Always just one up, one down?
It seemed like one thing to be like, oh, I got to keep going to use this. There's no application for it unless there's like really heavy rock beats, something like that. I was only in like a weird surf rock band, so it just never, it didn't apply to that.
Yeah, you don't need it in surf rock. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah. It's it's definitely, I don't know, I think you would have a harder time getting rid of a rack tom if you were used to playing like 2 up, like a 10-12 or a 12-13, whatever tom sizes people are doing now. I think that you would get very, very used to something up and in front of you. It's almost like a positional thing though, because the extra floor toms are like back and to the right. Like you don't see it quite as often. So I think you could get used to not having that. Yeah. But if you took away a rack tom, that's a problem for sure. I would be swinging all the time up there if you were used to that, right? Thanks for watching this clip from the Orlando Drummer Podcast. If you're looking for more content like this, whether it be in-depth masterclasses, interviews with pro drummers, extensive lesson packs, and other courses, you can find all of that at the link in the description. Just click on orlandodrummer.com and start a free 7-day trial to my online drum school. I promise you will find something you like. And if you don't want to stick around, no harm done. Check it out. Link in description.